G'day. It's time to down your unders. Review and dissection of content from some of the sharpest minds in the game. Hosted by Adam Camilleri. Art of War. Down Under.
G'day everyone and welcome to another beautiful episode of Art of War Down Under, especially one where we get to review a brand new codex. And not one that's for, a faction that's already got a main book. This isn't a supplementary codex like Black Templars is for Adeptus Astartes. This is a whole thing by itself, even though it is Adeptus Astartes. It's Grey Knights. And to that end, I've brought over my Grey Knight #1 guy who's been on with me for pretty much every bit of Grey Knight content I've ever done since I started the show 5 years ago. His name is Stuart Trainer, or that you may know him as Vandalex from various Discords and Chitty Chats. And welcome to the show, mate. How you doing?
Hello, Adam. Just like the Homer Simpson meme, I go into the hedge as a Dark Angels player, and I re-emerge as a Knight of Titan once again.
I have so often stepped into your factions. It's about time you stepped into one of mine. I appreciate the reciprocal nature of our relationship. But we are here to review the Knights of Titan, the Grey Knights, the Silver Knights. Actually, I don't know why they're called grey. They're silver. We all know this. Let's stop polluting.
True silver armor, mate.
Yeah, exactly right. And there's a brand new book, and of course we're going to be doing it in two parts. You're going to get that Man Reads a Book style review right here, right now, and then over in part 2, if you join us on Patreon, you will get Stu and My's thoughts on our first press army, some of the matchups, and some of the overall goodness that we find in the book, and what we've discovered so far to be worth it and worthwhile. And also, we're going to hold back a couple of our opinions for there also, because there's a bit extra to unpack in the overall scope and breadth of Grey Knights in the game and in the meta, because they have very unique rule set, which I think has been an amazing boon to us, the players, but has given Games Workshop a lot of headaches at the balancing table. But we're going to kick this review off on page 55, where we have an army rule that is completely unchanged. That's true, yeah?
It's actually slightly changed, very nuanced sort of change. So first off, the big change is it is no longer called Teleport Assault. It's called Gate of Infinity.
Wild, mate.
I know,
they changed the name.
That's pretty big, but more importantly is that now this puts your units into strategic reserves rather than this ethereal teleport assault rule.
Yeah.
And what that just basically means is you can hold them off the table for as long as you like instead of having to come down in the next movement or reinforcement step, which means you can also ingress them for later as well.
Correct. It actually creates a whole third play pattern within your Grey Knights army. And it's actually pretty cool. Like, you can deploy your entire army, pick up, and some detachments, half of it, and then just wait. Wait and see what your opponent does. Just hold them all. Hold the whole shebang to see if they leave you a weak flank or, dribble them back in as rapid ingress options, all sorts of things.
You could even be a madman and, essentially null deploy for a turn where you could, have 3 units on the table. Then you go second and then just pick up those 3 units and do nothing on turn 1. Have literally no units on. I mean, I don't recommend it, but it is a thing that you can do.
All right, well, let's break into the detachments. We have 5 of them, so they haven't skimped on the Grey Knights, giving us the detachments. First one is Brotherhood Strike, which is the reskinned index detachment. The detachment rule is completely new now. You used to get fly and auto advance 6 in this detachment, and now you get reroll once to hit and once to wound after you arrive from Deep Strike. This is shooting and fighting, should you just be blessed enough to go and make that 8 or 9 inch charge from reserve. Actually, I think it's 9 inch charge. Don't think you can get +1.
From memory, and don't hold me to it, but I'm pretty sure there is no pluses to charge in this book.
Me too.
So
yeah. Happily, there is advance and charge later to come, which is very lovely to see. But how do you feel about this detachment rule first up?
Rerolls 1 to hit and wound is always just good, right? Reliability is great. It does obviously have the T's and C's of having to arrive from Deep Strike, but most of the time you're probably going to do this anyway, which is at least nice.
It's giving you a boon for a thing your army rule tells you is going to happen every turn. So correct. I like how this is just built into, like I said at the start, the play patterns of the army.
Yeah, exactly. And the only sort of gripe I have about this is that it isn't worded to work with rapid ingress, which is a little bit sad for me.
Yeah.
And I know they have the capacity to do this because I'm also a Gene Stealer cult player, and the detachment rule for Host of Ascension basically is worded in such a way that you can rapid ingress and still have your detachment rule.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I'm a little upset that they didn't at least think that way, because obviously you're going to rapid ingress with this book. And yeah, it'd be nice to have those rerolls there.
Yeah, so what you're saying is if you rapid ingressed, let's say you overwatched, you would have reroll once to hit, once to wound, if this was worded differently. Or if you were rapid ingressed, charged, or heroic, you would have this bonus. And right now, it's debatable that you probably don't.
Yeah,
right.
Well, it's more that like you would rapid ingress and then it flicks to your turn and you don't have the rerolls anymore. So if you were setting up to go charge, let's say a big knight, and you were like, man, I'd really like to have reroll one hit and wound, well, you're not going to have it anymore.
Yeah. No, you're not. All right, I'm going to read out all the enhancements, and then my good man Stu is going to give us an order of priority for when you should purchase these, what the auto includes are, and what should be left on the shelf. We have Banishing Wave, which is a psychic. It's psychic. Grey Knight's model only. Each time the bearer's unit is set up using the Deep Strike ability, roll 1d6 for each enemy unit within 12 of the bearer. On a 2 to 5, the enemy unit suffers 1 mortal wound. On a 6, D3 mortal wounds. And I have to say, meh. Blinding Aura is up next. Each time the bearer's unit is set up using the Deep Strike ability, until the end of the turn, you cannot fire Overwatch against the bearer's unit. Purity of Purpose. Each time the bearer's unit is set up using the Deep Strike ability, you get reroll charges. So that is just first to the fray. And then Tome of Forbidden Ways is while the bearer is on the battlefield or in strategic reserve, add 1 to the number of units from your army that can select for the Gate Infinity rule. So you get 1 more back into reserve. That will put you up to 4 for case in point. How do you like these enhancements, and what do you see as the best buys?
Well, look, I don't want everyone to discuss Banishing Wave. It's terrible. You're never going to take
Absolutely
it. So I think Tome of Forbidden Ways, the extra Gate of Infinity choice, is probably one you want to take, because it feeds into your detachment rule. It means you get an extra proc for reroll once to hit wound.
Yep.
Second to that, I think the Overwatch is very key.
Me too.
You'd be surprised how many times that there's just something you don't want to get overwatched by, even though that you're running Terminators or 2+ save dudes, especially later on in the game when you're a bit more weakened. So I think that's important. And then look, sometimes you're going to need to rip a 9-inch charge. So have reroll charges. It's probably third on the list for me, but it's...
Well, can I just say, at ANZ TC this year, it would have been great to have my Dread Knight not be able to be overwatched.
Absolutely. That's
all right.
That's it.
But as far as I can tell, so I like to give in my head, I give a tick system to detachments, and it's basically, is the detachment rule good? Is the enhancement suite good? Is the stratagem suite good? And you can get up to 3 ticks, and very few detachments have got 3 ticks in the game at the moment. Gladius Task Force is an example of a detachment that has 3 ticks for if someone needs one at home. Does it all the time. Every section is good. Right now, this one is not getting a tick for enhancements.
No, it is not.
It is not. None of them are bangers. Some of them are good utility, but none of them are setting the world on fire. Does get a tick for a good, in my opinion, detachment rule, however. It's something that, like, historically, Grey Knights have very limited rerolls access. In fact, that's the reason that Warpbane Task Force was such a banger, was because, oh my God, we're Grey Knight players and we have rerolls? This is wild.
Part of the problem I think this detachment is going to have is that I think it actually does compete with Warpbane. Like, you just get rerolls to hit for less T's and C's, or more easier to manage T's and C's than this one.
Well, the whole army always has reroll once to hit. So the whole army, without condition, gets half of this rule. And
you still have access to reroll once to wound as you need as well. So,
all right. First up with the strats, 2 CP, better be good. Fight phase, 1 Grey Knight's infantry unit from your army that's not been selected to fight until the end of the phase. Psychic weapons, just letting you know, that's all of them. Equipped by models in your unit have devastating wounds. So yes, that is a 2 CP price point. How do you feel about it?
This is a good stratagem. It returns from the index attachment for Grey Knights. I think it has a different name, but there's also a little bit more synergy to this stratagem, which we can sort of quickly touch on. Actually, just a slight spoiler.
Purifiers.
The Purifiers for one, but also the new Grandmaster Dread Knight kit has a weapon which is anti-character 2+, which means that if you were a spicy boy and did an epic challenge, It's 2
Sorry,
plus
mate.
hit points.
This is infantry only.
You know what? I'm really upset.
There's your
I thought I
one.
was going to
There's your
get
one.
this as a cool
Sorry.
combo, but
Mine will come back
AOWdu
too.
has been
Yeah.
one step ahead of me here.
Foiled again. But yeah, Purifiers for me. If you guys don't know, Purifiers have reroll once to wound base now on their data sheet and full rerolls to wound against units on objectives, both shooting and combat. So you just like lol, strength 6 AP 2 damage, rerolls to wound devs, die. What's the next strat?
Combat manifestation. When your movement phase, one Grey Knight's unit from your army that is arriving using the Deep Strike ability this phase. Set your unit up anywhere on the battlefield that is more than 3, but actually 6 inches away from all enemy units. But until the end of the turn, it is not eligible to declare a charge.
So same as the index attachment.
Yeah, 6-inch Deep Strike. It's always good to have with an army that has mass reserves. So this is a good strat.
Next one, Purgation Pattern is 1 CP, your shooting phase. One Grey Knights unit from your army that is set up using Deep Strike this turn has been selected to shoot. To the end of the phase, get sus 1, sustain hits 1 for 1 CP. Perfectly acceptable. I wish I had a rider of some kind or something, but for 1 CP to get sus hits, that's not too bad.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's, sustain hits is good. You still have a lot of ability to take some big units, so you can get some value out of this stratagem too.
Yep. Next up.
Duty Unending. When your opponent's movement phase, just after an enemy unit within engagement range of 1 or more Grey Knight units from your army falls back. You target one of those Grey Knight units, and if it has a Deep Strike ability, it can be placed into strategic reserves.
So this is pseudo mists, which is now no longer in this detachment.
No longer in this detachment, but yeah, this is a good stratagem, right? Like being able to potentially Deep Strike in or rapid ingress and then charge something on your following turn and then pile and consolidate into something else and basically potentially just keep the unit or recycle the unit, which is very good.
Well, it's one, as long as you have 1 CP, consolidating into like a transport or something is complete immunity from your opponent. If they stay in combat, they don't hurt you very much. You kill them, you break on out. If they do try and fall back, 1 CP, you're almost like blanking a turn of their damage versus that unit.
Absolutely. For shooting,
either way you cut it.
Definitely. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I see this as a bread and butter. You should be, if you're playing this detachment, you should be doing everything you can to leverage this stratagem.
Yeah, and you're making sure you have a CP every turn to be ready to spend all this for your opponent's turn.
Next up is Shining Veil, 1 CP, your opponent's shooting phase. Just after an enemy unit has chosen its targets, one Grey Knight's unit that was the target, you get stealth. So 1 CP stealth, not too bad as a defensive strat. Notably, though, there's no true silver armor in this. So I guess this is something.
Yeah, which is true. But after the changes to Armor of Contempt, this might be better against a lot of active or armies, right? Because you're getting stealth for the entire phase rather than just one activation.
Correct.
But yeah, there's going to be a couple of times you really wish you had true silver armor instead.
Same. All right, last one.
I'm going to say this wrong. Expeditious Exit, I think it's pronounced.
Nailed it.
Oh, so good. So you use this at the end of your opponent's fight phase. You target one Grey Knight's Psychic Infantry unit from your army. And if every model in your unit has a Deep Strike ability, remove your unit from the battlefield and place it into strategic reserves. And the designer's note here is that this stratagem allows you to remove a unit in addition to those removed using the Gate of Infinity rule. And it allows you to remove a unit with an engagement range of 1 or more enemy units.
Which is why it is 2 CP.
Correct.
Because it's beam out of combat, baby. And that's actually really powerful.
Yeah, it's a really nice stratagem to have. Like just the amount of times that you've been tagged by something and then you can't teleport out and stuff like that is, I've been there playing games with Grey Knights. It is pricey at 2 CP, which, for some ways it's effectively 2 CP, fallback, shoot and charge in some ways as well.
Yeah, correct.
But I definitely think that there's going to be a couple of times where this just gives you some extra little bits of play in case your opponent tries to stop you from just teleporting around the battlefield. Sort of thing. So
this detachment gets 2 ticks essentially, because I think the stratagem suite is quite good. So 2 ticks out of 3 here. It's actually debatable. Maybe it's a half tick on the detachment rule because it's kind of a detachment rule that's virtually superseded by an existing detachment. But
correct,
I'm going to give it half a tick.
But I do like the stratagems. I think it's
so. I have one issue, and this is a bit of foreshadowing, but outside of the Grandmaster Dreadnight's ability to get a CP discount, there's no additional ability to generate command points in this
No.
army, in this book. And so you are almost priced out of getting the most out of this stratagem suite because there's two CP stratagems here. And
Correct.
because of that, you are just going to be having to make some very hard choices. Because of that,
Correct.
I kind of don't rate the detachment that highly. If these were if one of these two CP strats was one CP, this thing would be almost a whole tier better because you leverage almost all of it all the time. Now
absolutely.
It's just like, do I want to do damage or do I want to beam out of combat? I never have the opportunity to do both.
Yeah. I just think it means that like there are a couple of stratagems that like unfortunately never make the cut of getting used. It's stuff like
Correct.
the sustained hits one on shooting. Like
exactly.
I just don't think you're ever going to have the CP spare to actually use it.
No, to flex. And this is the kind of the detachment where you're going to be like, oh, I just dead drew. I need a cycle to stay in the game, but then I don't have any ability to do my good strats. And that's going to be, once again, another burdensome choice put on the player. All right, up next, Hallowed Conclave. This is the Terminator detachment. This allows Terminator units from your army. They will be able to shoot and declare a charge in a turn in which they fell back. And I got to tell you, the Terminators in this army are going to be in a really interesting position when we get to them.
Yeah.
How do you feel about that as a detachment rule? For me, it's a pretty mid detachment rule.
Oh, really? I actually think it's a bit of a banger detachment rule.
Yeah.
Like, I just think there are so many. Look, to be honest, while the Terminators of both kinds in this codex are, like, I would say better than they were in Index in a lot of ways, I still think sometimes they're going to be a little light on damage into a few targets. And the amount of times that I've kind of found myself in grindy games with Terminators is honestly too many to count. So having the ability to just fall back, shoot, and charge is going to be such a big thing in those matchups sort of things. So it also means you can sort of feel better about heroically intervening and stuff like that, because you know that you're going to gain movement, and then in your turn, you're going to just fall back out, shoot and charge something else. Like so many like different ways of using it here. So I don't know. I kind of think it's better than it maybe looks on paper initially.
Awesome. All right, let us go into that enhancement suite. We start off with Eye of the Augurium. Whatever. Once per battle round, the bearer can use this enhancement. If it does, you can target the bearer's unit with Fire, Overwatch, or Heroic Intervention for 0 CP, and can do so even if you've already targeted a different unit with that stratagem this turn. You can double Overwatch in this detachment.
Yeah,
I
like this.
Very hard to quantify what that's going to do to your opponent when you tell them, because I think it is very powerful.
Yep, I really like this. At the very least, it just gives you another way to use some strats for free, which I just actually think is very good for this army. So I rate this pretty highly. Both are going to come up pretty often, I think.
Well, it's just so much more that your opponent needs to play around, as far as I'm concerned.
Absolutely, and it's just really nice when like stuff like Eldari is still a thing, and like forcing them to have to spend 2 of their tokens to not fire Overwatch in 2 places, it can limit what they can do, which is
it can break them psychologically, and that's what we want to do.
Yeah, and it also means you can like potentially Overwatch the same target once in the movement phase and then again in the charge phase,
and wait and see where they get with their charges and what's worth overwatching or whatever. Or I mean, like, it's once per battle round, but it isn't once per game. Like, you can fire an additional Overwatch in one turn, and then in the next battle round, you could be offering an additional heroic because you've down it into a different position and done stuff like that. So I just love this enhancement. I should give you the full package first, and then we'll go through them all. You're going to notice a theme. And the theme is that every detachment must have one of the worst enhancements you've ever seen. And here's this one's detachment: Inescapable Judgment. Each time an enemy unit within engagement range of the bearer's unit falls back, the bearer can use this enhancement. If it does, roll a d6. On a 2 to 5, that unit suffers d3 mortal wounds. On a 6, it's d3 plus 3. These mortal wounds are psychic attacks, which actually makes them worse. Because if they were just mortal wounds, it would go through everything bar feel no pain. There are so many things that have a better save versus psychic attacks than they do against standard, like grenade mortal wounds, which pisses me off. Sanctic Reaper is up next. Add freaking 3 to the attack characteristic of the bearer's melee weapons, only for Terminator models only, but that is significant. And then the last one, Yeah, absolute banger. And the last one is Nemesis rounds, Terminator model only. Each time you target the bearer's unit with the fire Overwatch stratagem, hits are scored on 5s when resolving those. So a lot of stratagem support in the enhancement suite. And because of that, this enhancement suite absolutely gets a freaking tick. Banger,
Yeah.
done. 3 of these, incredible.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, we won't talk about the inescapable judgment, which is only really good if you are very good at rolling 6s.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, just Sanctic Reaper +3 attacks
Oh,
all the time on one of your characters. Dude, that's a sick enhancement.
No terms and conditions, man. There's no
Yeah.
has to be in base contact with this many
Nah.
models, or have to be within 6, or had to have made a charge move even. Like, it's just bang, +3, hot.
Yeah. And I also like that the Nemesis rounds and the Eye of the Agorium have a nice bit of interplay together where you're
Yeah.
now allowed to double Overwatch. And that first Overwatch activation that you're going to do is going to be hitting on 5s. So,
Well,
I don't know. It's nice.
It's very nice. Well, so the first thing I identified is that it's Grey Knight's model only on the Eye, which means it can go on a GMDK, who can threaten a 0 CP, just Incinerator Overwatch, which is probably the best Overwatch you can get, unless it's a unit of Perks or whatever. And then you went on a unit that can say have, it's Paladins, that can say have 3 or 4 special weapons, or it's just a model adjoined to a unit of Perks, although I don't think you can join any Terminator characters to Perks. But, you can have a very significant amount of firepower out of a unit of Termies or Paladins, way more. And hitting on 5s is huge.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I don't know. I think this is like you said, it's a tick on the enhancements.
See, I wouldn't give it a tick on the detachment rule. I think the detachment rule is weak, but you're the Grey Knight guy, so let's trust you.
No, so I'm happy to leave it off as a tick for now, but like I rate it, to be honest. I think it's pretty good.
Good. All right, you tell me the first of the strats.
First is Giants of the Battlefield. You use this in the fight phase, and it can only be used on Grey Knight Terminator models. Until the end of the phase, add 1 to the attacks characteristics of melee weapons equipped by models in your unit. Oh,
amazing.
S-tier stratagem. This one's God, I love it.
Forgive me if I'm wrong, but is it 4 attacks on both the Termies and the Paladins? 1 hits on 2s, 1 hits on 3s?
Yeah, so you're going to 5.
5. Yeah. So 5.
And this also affects the character attached as well. So
correct.
It's a good one.
Bread and butter, baby. Bread and butter. Next up is Unending Fidelity for 1 CP. Your opponent's shooting phase or the fight phase just after an enemy unit selected as targets 1 Grey Knight's infantry unit from your army that was selected. Until the end of the phase, each time model unit is destroyed, 4+ fight on death with no rider, no ifs, no buts, just 1 CP, 4+ fight on death. In a Terminator detachment, pretty scary.
Yeah, and I think it's also important that this is also shoot on death in the shooting phase as well.
That's what we need to talk about.
Like at first when I read this stratagem, I actually missed that, and I was just kind of like, "Yep, cool, 4-up fight on death, whatever." But then I reread it, and I was like, "Oh, shooting as well. Like that's going to come up more than you might think."
It's one of the rarest shoot on deaths in the game because most of the shoot on deaths force you to shoot back against the thing that killed the model. This one does not.
Yeah,
you can shoot freaking anything you can see.
And it's
only
not
not 4+.
Terminator locked as well, so you can use some perks.
That's exactly right. Or Purifiers, man. Sweet. I put 10 Purifiers in Crow in the middle objective, and you're just like, Arnie, come on, kill me. Kill me.
Yeah, exactly. And it means if they're going to chip you as well, like a lot of the time you want to kill the incinerators first, and now you kill the incinerators and those start shooting at stuff as well.
Correct.
Like that's really cool. Yeah.
Dude, one Psy Cannon in Crow's unit dies, gets two purifying flame shots and a Psy Cannon from 1 4+.
Yeah.
Not bad,
That's
brother.
Pretty good.
With some rerolls against the right targets. Yeah. All right, what's the next one?
Next is point blank purgation. Use this in your shooting phase. 1 Grey Knight's infantry unit from your army, and the unit gets pistol and twin linked for its storm bolter weapons.
I really like this.
It's a pretty cool strat. It allows your storm bolters to punch up, and I really like that this is not Terminator locked because it would feel a little bit silly when you can fall back, shoot, and charge with your Terminators. So the pistol part wouldn't feel as good.
Let me describe a scenario to you. So let's say I'm playing guard. let's say I'm playing just standard, like I've got a bit of everything guard, maybe a couple of 20-mans, a couple of 10-mans, Kazakin, tanks and stuff. When you tell me you're playing, possibly MSU Terminators, bam, that all shoot back, they'll fall back, shoot and charge. The natural reaction I have is to try and, if you're going to charge me, and I know you're going to charge me and be aggressive, is to swamp and wrap you. So if you want to fall back, shoot and charge, it's going to cost you units off the Desperate Escape. This is the perfect counter to that play pattern, and just be like, just going to shoot my way out. 1 CP.
Yeah.
Yeah, hot. I like it quite a lot.
Yeah. That's actually a good point, actually. I hadn't even considered that. But yeah, it does stop you just being like overwhelmed and sort of lock you in. You just go, cool. I'm just going to sit here and stand and deliver.
Yep, sit here, be awesome. It essentially just says 1 CP. I have every Stormbolter model in my unit has 4 extra attacks. Yeah, as extra attacks 4. And with, just a hand weapon, but still, it's kind of awesome. I like it a lot. Next up is Grind Them Underfoot. It's 1 CP your charge phase. After a Grey Knight terminated from your army ends a charge move, that Grey Knight unit. Select 1 enemy unit within engagement range of your unit, then roll 1d6 for each model in your unit that is within engagement range of that enemy unit. For each 4+, they take a mortal wound. So this is Grey Knight Terminators getting the JPI detachment rule. Sorry, a data sheet rule, essentially. Unlike them, I kind of feel like this detachment, is much more geared to having like 1 big squad of Terminators than a bunch of min squads. And so I don't know how often you're going to want to use this.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think it's a good stratagem to have.
Me
just
too.
to occasionally just deal mortal wounds sort of thing. Like, you can grenade and do this, which is nice as well. But again, like, same deal as I said before, like a lot of these stratagems are quite good. You want to use multiple of them. And you don't have the CP to use all of it. So I think this is one that's going to get sort of gleamed over quite a bit.
Agreed. Next up.
Precognitive strategies. Your opponent's movement phase just after an enemy unit ends a normal, advance, or fallback move. You target 1 Grey Knight's infantry unit from your army that is not within 9 inches that is within 9 inches of that enemy unit and not within engagement range. And you get to make a normal move of up to D6 inches. So it's a D6 reactive move.
Very nice.
Very nice to have. A little sad that it's a D6 because, having the roll dice is always a bit rough. But again, this also still means that if you have a transport nearby, you can set up to just like hop in the transport. So that's still really good.
Also, in addition, it works really well with your army rule because, of course, the way to shut down, going back into reserve is what I used to do is just tap people with empty transports. If I tap you unless you have a unit of 10 freaking Terminators, I can tap most Terminator units with a Taurox and I'd be unlikely to die, especially because they don't have lethals on the charge and stuff like that in previous, in the index. And so that was a way to keep you on the board so I could kill you so you couldn't bounce back. And then you're just like, well, 1 CP, I'm just going to move out of charge range. And this is pretty good.
Yep.
Last one, Shining Resolve for 1 CP. Your opponent's shooting phase just after an enemy unit selected as targets 1 Grey Knight infantry unit from your army that was selected. Until the end of the phase, each time an attack targets your unit, if the strength characteristic of the attack is greater than the toughness characteristic, subtract 1 from the wound roll. 1 CP, opponent's shooting phase, -1 to wound. I like it a lot.
Yeah, it sucks that it's not the 5 phase as well, though.
I know. It'd be 2 CP, though. They would have made it 2. I swear to God, they would have made it 2 CP.
Oh, man, it feels so bad when Dark Angels get this for free all the time. Like, the fact that I have to spend for this, like,
And you don't even get 4 wound termies. Like, you don't even.
I don't even like. This is like. I think this is something you're going to use often if you have a big unit of Terminators.
Yes.
I don't think you're spending this on like 5-man units, unless it really matters.
Correct. Unless it's going to hold you a primary in the next turn, or it's going to do something dramatic.
Yeah. But again, it's not bad to have. It is a defensive strat.
Yep, and I believe this stratagem suite gets a tick.
Yeah, I think it does. I think this is minimum 2 out of 3. Possible. I'm going to call it 2.5 ticks because I do think the detachment rule is quite good.
I'll trust you.
But yeah, I think this is obviously going to be carried by how good the Terminator data sheets are going to be in the meta.
This is kind of my perfect example of a good stratagem suite. You have a damage increasing with a +1 attack. You have jank in the reactive move. You have a really janky fight on death or shoot on death, which is something that is extremely unique and is like kind of special. I like to see something that not many other detachments have in a stratagem suite. It has shoot into combat with storm bolters, which is really good. It has some janky mortal wound, and then it has reliability and durability increases. So I think this is a pretty complete stratagem suite.
Yeah, it's very all encompassing, which is very nice to have.
All right, next up we have the Banishers. This is the pseudo Chaos Space Marine one, where you get baby packs essentially. So you got to take a leadership test. If you fail the leadership test, unlike CSM, you get nothing. But you don't take any mortals. So there's the upside, there's the downside. If you do pass, you get the choice of your melee weapons, which are psychic, getting lethals or sustained. I like this, but don't love this.
Yeah, so I think this is a good rule. So I think it has to get a tick because Dark Pacts effectively is good. The problems with it is that it is, first off, unreliable. It's not guaranteed. So
Correct.
If you need the buff and you fail it, too bad.
I'd almost rather take the mortal wounds and still get the buff, mate.
Yeah, no,
actually, I'm not even almost. Too. I 100% would. And so here's my issue, right? You're a leadership 6 army. I just went through all the characters. There's no character that's leadership 5. This is a 1/3 failure rate.
Oh no, so I think the chaplain is still a 5+.
Oh yeah, cool. Well,
we'll
chaplain's terrible.
Later.
Chaplain's terrible. But because of that, 1/3 of the time you will not have a detachment rule, which pisses me off.
Exactly. And the other part of this annoying as well, it's melee only. Like, I don't think it would have broken the bank if this was also on shooting.
Okay, so for the longest time, and I think since probably 5th edition, if I want to say, Grey Knights had crap shooting, awesome melee. That's been their identity. Their identity is our shooting is geared to kill little stuff real effectively. We're going to shred gaunts, lesser demons, guardsmen, all these things. That's our shooting. And then our combat is freaking good. Our combat is just across the board better than everybody else's. Like our weakest guy carries your blade guard's weapon, kind of stuff. They didn't need much help in melee already. So I would have much preferred this. If I was going to pick, I'd say I'd much prefer this just to be shooting than both. If I had to pick one or the other. Yeah.
Absolutely. But yeah, so it's a weird one. It is a good rule, but it's just unreliable, and I think that's going to be a bit of a problem.
Agreed. All right, here's the enhancement suite. Sigil of the Hunt up first. Grey Knights model only. In your shooting phase, each time a model in the bearer's unit makes an attack, reroll hit rolls of 1. So just, reroll the hit rolls of 1 as an enhancement for the unit. Not bad. Ethereal Tome. Infantry model only. At the start of your shooting phase, if the bearer's unit is not within engagement range of 1 or more enemy units, the bearer can use this enhancement. If it does, the bearer's unit can make a normal move of D6, but until the end of the turn, not eligible to declare a charge. And we're going to have to unpack that one because I think it's quite janky and cool. 66th Seal is my favorite, though. In your shooting phase, each time a model in the bearer's unit makes an attack, improve the AP characteristic of that attack by 1. +1 AP to themselves and the
Emperor
unit.
Bless.
Thank
that's a
God. One. And last one, you knew it was coming. Pyosol. It's got the psychic brackets. Oh, what does that mean? You know what that means? It means it's awful. At the start of your shooting phase, the bearer can use this enhancement. If it does, select one enemy unit within 24 of invisible to the bearer. They suffer D3 mortal wounds. How are they so consistent with this? They're just like, how they?
I know this might annoy you, Adam. I actually think Pyosol is actually pretty solid.
Don't you dare. Don't you dare.
I just think it's 24 inches and you get like a splash of mortal wounds. Like, I think it's okay. Like, out of all the bad mortal wound doing stratagems,
correct,
or enhancements, I should say, this one's actually okay. I actually don't.
It doesn't matter. You're not taking it because the other 3 are bangers, straight up bangers.
That's fair. All right. Yeah.
Yeah, you got real 1s to hit for yourself and your unit. You have the Ethereal Tome, which we'll unpack in a second, and you have +1 AP. The +1 AP is just hands down banger.
Yeah, I think the +1 AP
never leave home.
Pretty much take all the time.
Auto, absolute auto.
And this is like it's any model. It's not like infantry lock. So you can have a Grandmaster which has an AP3 ignore cover Psy Cannon. Like that's really good.
Really nice.
But just again, if you wanted to take a big unit of Paladins with all of the like Psy Cannons or something like that, go to AP2 Psychic Cannons, which means they have relevant AP. It's
my man. If you wanted to take a second unit of 10 Purifiers.
Oh, don't start me on that. That's pretty good.
Get into it, baby.
Yeah.
Let's go. If the Horde meta ever comes back, this thing.
And also, thank God they didn't say +1 AP for psychic weapons. This affects your Storm Bolters too.
Yes. Thank God.
Just thank you for that one.
All right, unpack Ethereal Tome to me. Ephemeral, whatever.
Ephemeral? I think it's ephemeral.
That one, yes, you are correct. That made sense.
So Ephemeral Tome. It's basically move D6 inches at the start of the shooting phase. This means that you can do this after you deep strike in.
Yes.
It also means that you can do this after moving and advancing as well, which is quite nice. Yep. It doesn't make charges any easier because you can't charge afterwards. What this does, though, is this allows your unit to sort of just get better angles for shooting a lot of the time.
Yep.
It also just allows you to get into specific parts of the table much more reliably for different secondaries and stuff like that.
So many people will use like a transport on an objective to block you out, which... and stuff like that, where you just deep strike your 9 away, and then if you rip a 4, you'll make the objective. Like you'll get on the objectives. This is a tome of theft, as far as I'm concerned, because I intend to use this to just steal primary off people.
Absolutely, you can steal primary with it, which is like awesome. The other part as well, which I think is going to be like a little bit underlooked as well, is that just the amount of times that you just kind of need a little bit more movement to hide behind a ruin or something like that, right? Like, this just gives you that agency to sort of, or just fix movement, right? Because sometimes you've sort of seen how, you've done your movement phase and stuff like that, and you might go, all right, I actually need a little bit more inches to do this, or my opponent has Overwatch somewhere which I didn't sort of see coming, and it spiked a little bit, and now I need to kind of like shore up my screen or something like that. This allows you to do that.
Here's the other one. This happens after rapid ingress. To start your shooting phase, your opponent's just rapid ingress.
Yeah, that's true. This is
a rapid ingress reactive.
Yeah.
If this unit is screening, they rapid ingress in and you bunk. It's
to run away.
Yeah. I just thought about that then, and that just the playbook just got so deep on this enhancement.
Yeah. Also, another thing to note: there's a stratagem which you're all going to be familiar with, where this is the detachment which gets the mists replacement or the copy of it. So this has a lot of interplay with mists as well, because you can sort of move in janky ways to make sure that they kind of have to give you a mist as well.
You reactive move into 9 of your opponent's best unit that you wanted to keep on the table or keep in place, and they're like, well, if you move, I'm out. If you don't move, I get you. Like, it's actually pretty good. That's pretty cute, man. That's cute. All right, first of the strats, take it away.
Hexrot Reprisal. I really like this one.
This is hilarious.
Cool. So you use it at the end of any phase. And one Grey Knight Psychic unit that has suffered 1 or more mortal wounds this phase. The effect is select one enemy unit which inflicted 1 or more mortal wounds on your unit this phase, then roll a number of dice equal to the number of mortal wounds your unit suffered this phase. For each 2+, the enemy unit suffers 1 mortal wound to a maximum of 6 mortal wounds. These mortal wounds are psychic attacks. You get to reflect models.
This is on 2+. Like, I mean, there's not many units that are going to be, requiring you to roll. It'd be the 7 or 8 dice. So you'd have to take 7 or 8 mortals to bounce back the 6, consistently. But I mean, Magnus hates this. Oh boy, does Magnus hate this.
Yeah, exactly. The only problem with this strat, and the reason I don't think it's actually going to get used that much, is it uses at the end of any phase.
You have to.
So. you have to live. Like, I don't know, if Magnus is shooting me and then he's got some Rubric Marines to support,
Correct.
pretty sure I'm going to be dead. Like, you know.
It's not like 5 guys that are going to survive the Magnus to bounce back the mortals at the end of the phase.
Like, I really wish this was just like when you received mortal wounds, you could do it, because then, like, you know, you get doom bolted and you're like, haha, doom bolt back, or haha, I've, you know, Magnus shot me and he left one Terminator alive. Haha, take some mortal wounds.
I'd be really happy if it was way harder to get the mortals off, but yeah, exactly right. Done it at the end of an activation rather than the end of a phase.
Where this, I think, is actually going to be good is that I think this is the anti-tank shock stratagem.
Correct.
No one's going to want to tank shock you when he's like, I'm going to tank shock you to chip you. And I'm like, how many wounds does your vehicle have left?
Choice, brother.
It has 4. I'm like, I mean, like, imagine tank shocking me and then you die. Like, that's pretty rough.
It's a big night meta at the moment, man. They tank shock all the time. So just being like, do 4 to me, I do 4 to you. Are they going to spend the CP? Like, yeah.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, so it's a cool stratagem. I like it.
Me too. Warding Chant is up next for 1 CP. Your opponent's shooting phase or the fight phase just after enemy that selected as targets. 1 Grey Knight Psycho unit that was selected. To the end of the phase, models in your unit have a 5+ feel no pain against damage characteristics of 1. So I like this a lot in certain matchups. In some other matchups where they have like Astartes killing weapons, then that means they pretty much have no damage 1. But you already pointed out one of the best cases for this. Thousand Suns. If they're not, like, even the Sorcerer in the Thousand Suns that throws like the 9 dice with the super crazy sus is 1 damage. Or the Rubik Marines essentially are 1 damage. There's actually quite a bit of 1 damage out there. But then you play against like, you know, double Gatling Despoiler Knight, and you're like, well, this doesn't exist.
Yeah, look, honestly, this is relevant to a few armies. Like GSC kind of don't like this as well. They have a lot of 1 damage, just kind of like random shots and stuff like that. The unit I think that hates this most in the game is Rust Stalkers. I think they absolutely hate this.
True.
Like, they're just trying to trying to kill you with dev wounds, and then you're like, well, I've got a 5 up, feel no pain, and then I'm going to reflect those mortal wounds at the end of the phase. So,
oh no.
I don't know. That's pretty cool. So yeah, it's I think this is good. I think it's going to come up more than you think. So I like it.
I like it too. What's next? Oh, I love this next one.
I love this one too.
This should have been Grey Knight's Armor of Contempt, and in every single Grey Knight detachment in perpetuity.
I agree. This is Chaos Bane. You use this in your shooting phase, and you select 1 Grey Knight Psychic unit from your army. Until the end of the phase, ranged weapons equipped by the model's unit have the anti-chaos 4+ ability.
Why is that not just perma? Why is that not just perma?
Because it would be like, it's so good. It's actually like really good in this meta because,
dude.
I'm going to date this episode. This is July of 2025, and we're in the height. I hope it's the height because I don't think it can go much higher.
No. So 5 of the top 6 or so 5 of the top 7 armies in the game are chaos, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You add Astartes and Imperial Knights to that, and everything else is chaos. It's ridiculous.
Absolutely, man. Like, it's just so. Look, you're going to get a lot of value out of this stratagem if you play this attachment because, it's just good into every chaos army that's out there at the minute because they are running big things that you want to wound on 4s with Stormbolters.
Into Chaos Knights, this is army-wide +1 to wound because you're all strength 6, they're all T9 or better, and so this is just +1 to wound. It's fantastic.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I mean, look, I'm pretty sure there's no dev wound shooting, but man, imagine if you had dev wound shooting.
And I am happy this isn't melee as well because I don't think Grey Knights particularly need it. They will suck chaos to bits in melee regardless. So I'm happy with what they've done here because I know that's what some people are going to say. They're going to say, why isn't it not melee as well? I don't think it's necessary. All right, Celerity is up next. 1 CP, your charge phase. 1 Grey Knight infantry unit from your army. To the end of the turn, your unit is eligible to declare a charge in a turn in which it advanced. Now, I need to tell you that the first thing I did when I read this was go and look at all the transports, and not a single transport says anything about interceptors taking up more space than anybody else. So 2 units of 5 or 1 unit of 10 interceptors can disembark 3, move 12, potentially advance 6, and could have gone 21 inches and then declared a charge.
Yep.
Yep.
It's.
And
I mean, look,
we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it. Let's go.
it's celerity is so good. I've been praying for advance and charge for Grey Knights for
Yeah.
quite some time. So
Me too.
I'm glad to hear that this was answered.
Next up.
Circle of Sanctuary. Start of your opponent's movement phase. One Grey Knight character model from your army. Until the end of the phase, enemy units that are set up on the battlefield as reinforcements cannot be set up within 12 inches horizontally of your model.
Awesome.
Is it? It's one Grey Knight's character. Like,
Yeah,
it
I
only
wish it-
affects that one model. Like,
Could be a
if it affected
GMDK
the
who
unit,
has a big base.
yeah. I don't know. I think it's so situational. I just wish it said, why does it say character? Why does it just say unit?
Unit. That's fair.
It's weird. But look, again, when this comes up into particular matchups, I'm thinking Gene Stealer Cult or what's the detachment for demons that allows you to 6-inch deep strike?
Demonic Incursion. Yeah.
Yeah. So like in those matchups, this
Subterranean Tyranids.
True. Yeah. Subterranean Nids.
Yeah.
So there's a few relevant things, but like I don't know why it's Grey Knight's character. Like
that's fair.
Yeah. I don't know.
Well, I would only be using this on a GMDK. I wouldn't bother anywhere else. It's got the biggest base, and you uppy downing it with this ability. So, like on your opponent's go turn, you just bring him back, and he just by himself zones off your entire home. And I think that is quite powerful. But you are right.
Any other like solo characters that would be really good? Like maybe it's okay on a Tech Marine that's getting lone opt. So
that's exactly that's what I was about to say. If only we had a lone op character that didn't have a term and condition like the Tech Marine. Like if we had a Lucius equivalent or something like that, or a Mephisto.
Yeah, then it would be really sick.
Yeah, it'd be amazing. All right, last one, Shadow of Anarch for 1 CP.
Shadow of Anarch.
Your opponent's movement phase. This detachment, so this stratagem is in fact Mists of Demos. They just changed the name. It's exactly the same in every way that I can see. Yeah. Oh boy. And all of a sudden, it got a tick on the strategies. It honestly would have anyway, to be honest.
Yeah, well, I'm actually very surprised Mists or Shadows or whatever you want to call it now has actually stayed in the Codex.
Me too.
I really liked the stratagem, but I just kind of felt like Grey Knights were kind of like weird to price because this stratagem existed.
Well, it was the best stratagem in the game, and it has been the best stratagem in the game for the majority of the edition.
It's the best reactive move by far. Like it's just
not even close. Not even close. Yeah.
And like, but yeah, I'm a little concerned that the fact that it remains might hurt Grey Knights in other ways, because I don't think you can really point the units like too cheaply because you have this stratagem, but sometimes you feel like the data sheet should be pointed a bit cheaper. So like I still think it's an amazing stratagem and you're nearly always going to get value out of it, but its existence is going to make some interesting decisions for the Grey Knight balancing.
So this to me feels like the most well-rounded of the detachments we've gone through so far, and the most well-balanced, where you want to take a wide selection of different units as well. Between what looks to be a damage increasing detachment rule, which 1/3 of the time will not work because you're testing on a 6+. You'll get you get sus or lethals. Cool. There are 2 significant damage increasing enhancements in reroll ones to hit permanently for yourself and the unit, and the +1 AP, which is just one of the most auto-taking freaking enhancements I've seen in a long time. It's got beautiful layers of jank. It has activation and logistic increasing abilities in the fact that it has advance and charge, while also having freaking mists in here. And yeah, I'm a big fan of this detachment. I think this detachment is quite good. This to me looks like the new index detachment.
Yeah, I think this is going to be the one that sort of sees the most generic play, sort of thing.
Yeah. If you don't know if you want to skew in any one direction, like into the Terminators, into the vehicles, into the Dreadnoughts, or anything like that, I think you take this one.
Yeah, I think that's true.
All right, next up, Sanctic Spearhead. And I'm going to say the thing. How many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man? Old man being G-Dub. Why do you continue to print advance units, the vehicles from your army? If they advance, you auto advance 6. But wait, there's more. You get assault. Can we stop? Fast gun good has been one of the dumbest ways to play this game, and my God, is this a dumb version of it? Because cool, yeah, it's just pretty much supercharging the absolute crap out of Dread Knights, and it's very good.
Yeah.
Because
I mean, look, I was going to say, like, I'm going to preface this saying I don't like this detachment,
me
but
either.
I think it's one of the better detachments in the book.
I think it's the best one. It's also the dumbest one.
I think it's
also
probably going to be the best one. Yeah.
It's also the one where you get to turn your brain off and unga bunga at people, which is not how I like to play Grey Knights.
It's not how I want to play my Grey Knights, man.
Neither.
There is some funny stuff you can do with it, and I will definitely at least attempt it on the table a few times. But like, yeah, it's just okay.
It's
okay.
too,
Iron Storm,
yeah.
thumbs up.
Yeah, exactly right. Iron Storm, Bringers of Flame. Yeah, there's so many iterations where we have been told these rules, these two rules, auto advance and assault together.
Yeah, it's so crazy that it's just auto advance 6 and assault too. Like,
and assault. Yeah.
Yeah.
Did
I
they
feel
did
like
they
this would
look
have just been better to like make this infantry locked, but like have all your infantry be able to like advance 6 and shoot. Like,
yeah,
that would have been sick.
Sick. Absolutely awesome.
Yeah.
But so I'll tell you guys right now, prefacing, the Dread Knight is unchanged. It still advances and shoots and advances and charges. So it just goes 14, does whatever the shit it wants. Automatically in this detachment. And that's that kind of value as hard and flexibility is very hard to turn down. And also has resulted in them being the extreme price point that they are at the moment. How many points is the Dread Knight at the moment?
I think they're 210.
Yeah.
Or it could be 205, but one of the two.
And like armagers are like 130, 140 now. They're like 70 points cheaper for you know, technically a better stat line.
Yeah, and it just annoys me because I think in the current meta, Dread Knights could probably go down a little bit, but they won't go down because this detachment exists.
They cannot go down now. That's what I'm saying. They cannot go down. What does the world look like with 170, 180 point Dread Knights? I don't want to live there.
Well, we can't go back down to that, but
no, we can't. All right, the enhancement suite sits as thus. Driven by duty, Grey Knight's Walker model only, so GMDK. Each time the bearer's unit piles in or consolidates, it can move 6 instead of 3. Quickening foci, infantry model only in your movement phase. Each time the bearer's unit disembarks from a transport until the end of the turn, you can re-roll the charge rolls made for that unit. Forget this one exists. Sigil of Exigence has made its way into this detachment, which is extremely powerful and is unchanged as far as I can see. If you don't know what that means, it means once per battle in your opponent's shooting phase, when the bearer's unit is selected as a target, you can up down him immediately and like avoid the shooting, essentially. It's really good. And then Spiritus Machina is next. Infantry model only in your shooting phase. Each time the bearer's unit is selected to shoot, if it disembarks from a transport this turn, to the end of the phase, each time you model the bearer's unit makes an attack, you can re-roll the wound roll. That one is not bad. But still not sure you're going to take it. How do you feel about this enhancement package, mate? Because I feel like it's probably the weakest we've come up against.
I think it's probably one of the weaker ones. It obviously does have Sigil though, which is just one of the best enhancements in the game as well. So you're still going to take that. I'm pretty sure it's still 30 points, at least in the Codex points. We know that everything's liable to change. Nothing is confirmed, but that stratagem is still amazing.
It is still 30. Yeah,
I think the pile-in console 6 for the Dread Knight is. I think it's actually quite a good enhancement still, just because the base for the Dread Knight is still quite big, so it just allows you to just sort of more freely go in and tag things or make sure you're actually hitting the things you want to hit. So I don't hate that one. The reroll charges out of a transport I don't think matters, and the reroll to wound though I don't mind. I think there's a couple of little plays you can do there. I think it's pretty good on Purifiers. Not Purifiers, sorry, Perks.
Perks.
So there's that.
Yeah. I don't mind it. All right, into the stratagem suite. True Civil Will is up first with 1 CP. It's any phase just after a Grey Knight Psych. A vehicle unit from your RV suffers a mortal wound. It's a 4 up against mortals. 1 CP, 4 up against mortals. I like it. It's good. You'll use it.
It's good. I really dislike that. Apart from a data sheet we'll talk about later, this is the only mortal wound defense.
Yeah, correct.
And also, or I say relevant mortal wound defense.
Yes.
And it's only for Dread Knights because it has to be a Psycho vehicle.
It's the only one.
You know, why can't this work? Why can't this just be vehicle? Like,
Yeah, why? I don't understand. It would not be
like
in any way
land
broken.
raiders and stuff have the Aegis as well, according to the
Yeah,
law. So,
correct.
like, I don't know.
So,
I mean,
yeah. So you're telling me there's no psychers piloting this thing? Every
I
other
don't
Grey
know.
Knight is a psyker, but the pilot of this guy is a null. He's a pariah.
Yeah.
You know.
Okay, we get it. We get it. Dread Knights are what you're meant to play in this detachment.
Yeah.
All right. Just. Ugh.
Well, I wish they would push the other vehicles in Grey Knights half as much, a quarter as much as they push Dread Knights. It's wild. All right, what's next?
Abominus class targets. Your shooting phase or the fight phase, and you select one Grey Knights unit from your army that has not been selected to shoot or fight. So this isn't locked to vehicles, which is very important.
Yes.
Until the end of the phase, each time a model in your unit makes an attack that targets a monster or vehicle unit, add 1 to the wound roll, and this is 1 CP.
Every turn, all the time. Never don't use it.
Banger stratagem. Well done, AOWdu. This is
best strat in the book. As good as Mists, in my opinion.
Yeah.
As good as Mists.
Yes.
It's shooting phase or fight phase, 1 CP. What are you doing?
Yeah.
This is nuts.
Very good.
So you are strength 6. Your worst melee is strength 6. So you do not need this against non-monster vehicles. Unless it's a Death Shroud, you're wounding it on 4s or better. So you don't need it anywhere else except where it is. And this is chef's kiss.
Yeah, so very good. I love it.
All right, next up is Armored Aegis. 1 CP, your command phase. 1 Grey Knight Psycho vehicle unit from your army. 1 model unit regains 3 wounds. So 1 CP, get 3 wounds on a Dread Knight. Once again, just Dread Knight.
Why is this Psycho vehicle? Like, yeah.
And there's, as far as I can tell, there's nothing that stops you from repairing them with the techie the same turn as well.
Yeah, you can. So you could essentially have D3 plus
6 wounds back.
Yeah, which is again good.
It's pretty much half of them. They got 13 still. So 6 back's pretty good.
Next is Redoubled Assault. Your movement phase just after a Grey Knight's vehicle unit from your army falls back. That vehicle gets to shoot and declare a charge in which it fell back. Luckily, this is not cycle locked, so you can use this on your Land Radar. You can use this on what other vehicles that you have, like a Rhino, a Razorback, something like that. So good. This is just
more than likely you're going to use it so your GMDK operates the same as your DKs.
Yeah, exactly.
It's too late now. It's too late to think about other vehicles. They've pushed.
I really want to though. Like, I know it's forcing me to play Dread Knights, but I want to. The unsung heroes, man. Forcing 2 Land Raider Redeemers 18 inches on turn 1 sounds fun.
My man, that's what we're going to talk about that build in part 2 because I think there's a case. I think there's a case for the Redeemers. Yeah, good man. 1 CP Force Wave, your movement phase or your charge phase. 1 Grey Knight's vehicle unit from your army that has not been selected to move or charge, go through the walls. This is very good because it's charge phase also.
Correct. Yes.
Banger because it's charge phase also.
I actually think this strat is like way more relevant in Grey Knights than it is in like some other armies, man. Like,
Well, this is the same strat as Knights of Shade was for Chaos Knights.
But, except you don't get to move through models. But it's
true. That is true.
It's very good. The other thing as well, I think this is the only strat that allows a Land Raider to move through walls because I don't think any other Space Marines can do that. So that's actually very good if you want to run Redeemers. Actually, funnily enough, you can use this on a Storm Raven. That's hovering, and then it can just beam 26 inches through all the terrain and land where it wants to.
Yep, and just blow everybody up. That is pretty funny.
That's actually kind of good.
Wait, it's a vehicle. It moves 26, mate. It can advance and.
That's what I mean. It just goes 26 through walls. Like that's a hell of an alpha strike on turn 1 when the Storm Raven just goes like, "Hi guys, I'm here." Like,
bye. Yeah. I wish you could then get the 3 wounds back, but it's not a psycho vehicle.
No,
that was real cute. All right, last one. Argent Wrath for 1 CP. Your charge phase. Just after Grey Knight's vehicle from your army ends a charge move. Each enemy unit within 3 of your unit must take a battle shock test, subtracting 1 from the test. It's not the worst. It's not bad for stopping interrupts and things like that, and heroics. Because this will happen before a heroic because it's your timing. It's after the end of the charge move, so you just spend the CP. Stop them heroic again if you're at a point of desperation. But I don't see you using this one very often.
No, where you use this is that you're going to be using this when you charge Necrons, and they've got either the Technomancer, or they've got what's the guy who Illuminaceraz, that guy.
Yeah.
And you're going to go, I really don't want this guy to get back up, so I'm actually going to spend to see if I can battle shock him, because if I do, it's a massive swing. So
it's huge.
Yeah, that's where you're going to
good pointed out. So this gets a tick. For the detachment rule. In fact, it gets the biggest tick in the book. In fact, I would take this detachment rule over any other 2 detachment rules. This is still better than power-wise and what it does for your army, and how consistent, proactive, and damaging it makes you. This is better than any 2 other detachment rules in this book. The enhancements are gutter trash, which is good, except for sigil.
It's just a sigil stamp. Congratulations, you have sigil. Doesn't matter what your other ones are.
The rest of consolidation prize, the plain Janes. And yes, this has the best damage increasing stratagem in the book. In the +1 to wound against vehicles monsters, which is in any phase. And the rest, once again, just gravy. And the rest ain't bad. You still got the 3 walls in moving or charging. Fall back and do whatever you want. And this detachment is very good.
Yeah. I didn't want to see 6 Dread Knights on the table again, but no, here we are.
Man. Yeah.
6 Dread Knights is eternal.
It is. It will never die. All right, we got one more detachment, then we're going to go into the data sheets. Agurium's Task Force. This one is possibly my favorite because it's the jankiest.
It is indeed the jankiest.
Prescient redeployment. From the second battle round onwards, at the start of your movement phase, if you did not select the maximum number of Grey Knight units from your army using the Gate of Infinity ability at the end of your opponent's previous turn, you can select 1 Grey Knight's unit from your army that is on the battlefield that could have been selected to use the Gate of Infinity ability. Remove that unit from the battlefield and place it into Strat Reserve. Designer's note. This means that your unit can remain in its position on the battlefield at the end of your command phase and then be placed into Strategic Reserve at the start of your movement phase. And then you can set it up again in another position. This means you can see your cards and score your primary and then beam them out, which has always been an issue for Grey Knights. In the later turns of the game, for me personally, I've gotten into the later turns of the game. I've got some remnants of my army left, and I have to make a decision. Do I want to pressure my opponent by picking up my unit, putting it somewhere aggressive, or do I need to leave it there and score primary and see what I draw off the top of the deck? Because I'm in position to maybe get a behind enemy lines or an extended or engaged all fronts or an area denial or all these things. And maybe my opponent has blocked out me being uppy down in that position. This just gives me freedom, such freedom. How do you feel about it?
There are also 2 secret sources to this as well.
Yes.
The first one is that this allows a unit that is sabotaging to still score sabotaging and then go up.
Yep.
Also, it means that you can mark for death one of the units that you want to pick up, and you can kind of go, cool, I'm going to wait and see if they discard the card at the end of the turn.
Yeah.
And then that unit's still going to go up,
that's hot.
Ironically, like Mark for Death is a really annoying card for
Grey Knights.
That actually helps with that. So it seems like weird on paper. You go whatever, but there's a lot of like niche units.
I love this. Dude, I love this. I find this so liberating. It's taking a lot of mental load off my frontal cortex, because when you pick up your units, you don't know what your cards are.
Yeah, and just you know that thing when you're playing Grey Knights and you have to plan your entire turn at the end of your opponent's turn. Now you have reactivity to just go, okay, I picked up these 3 units, but I wasn't expecting or 2 units, I should say, but I wasn't expecting to draw deploy teleport home or whatever it's called.
Locus
nowadays.
Yeah.
And you go, well, actually, this unit of strikes now can just go do that. Like, I can pick it up and it can go send out there. So, it's quite good.
All right, into the enhancement suite. Grimoire of Conjunctions. Grey Knights model only. Once per battle at the start of the fight phase, the bearer can use this enhancement. If it does, until the end of the phase, add 4 to the strength characteristic of melee weapons equipped by the bearer. Unfortunately, I actually think this is a little meh. I
It
wish
is a
it
little
gave
mad,
you.
but
I wish it gave you 1 or 2 strengths all the time, and then once per battle you boosted it, rather than once per battle you're good. Rest of the time you're the same.
yeah, I do really want to just quickly add on that though, before we talk about the others, is that the Grandmaster now has essentially a very similar rule to Space Marine Captains, where once per battle
Yeah.
gets +3 attacks, but it also gets +3 strengths. So
Yep.
once per
Plus
game, you could
7.
have strength 13 guy, and that's pretty funny. Like,
It's pretty funny, man.
yeah.
Also, the other one is going to strength 18 on your Demon Hammer, on your Nemesis Demon Hammer GMDK,
Yeah.
and just being like, twos for you. Wind you on twos here over there. Wind you on twos. Hey, mate, how you doing? Twos. Yeah. All right. Shield of Prophecy is up next. Once per battle at the start of the battle round, the bearer can use this enhancement. If it does until the end of the battle round, add 2 to the toughness characteristic of models in the bearer's unit. That one is auto take.
I like
love it.
being a Destriad for a turn.
It is, yeah. It's until the start of the next battle round.
Yeah.
Sorry, at the start of the battle round. So it doesn't matter if you go first or second. You trigger it at the same time at the start of the battle round, and then it lasts until the next one. So you're always going to get it through yours and your opponent's turn, which I find pretty good. 1 foot in the future. Each time the bearer's unit is set up in your reinforcement step, the bearer can use this enhancement. If it does, the bearer's unit can make a normal move up to D6 until the end of the turn. The bearer is not eligible to declare a charge. So very similar to a previous enhancement, which did actually exactly the same thing.
It's strictly worse than that one.
It is.
Because
right? Tell us why.
It does some of that one, but less limiting. I don't know why they've done.
That one was in the shooting phase. Yeah.
It was in the shooting phase. Yeah. So this is the same but less utility because the timing is bad.
Yep. So you rock up and do it immediately is what I'm hearing.
Yeah.
Yep. All right. And then the last one is Doomseer's Amulet. Each time the bearer's unit is set up during the reinforcement step, the bearer can use this enhancement. If it does, select one enemy unit within 12 of invisible to the bearer. That enemy unit must take a battle shock test, subtracting 1 from the test. So this is only good for stopping Overwatch as far as I'm concerned. So you deep strike down, try and turn off an Overwatch.
Yeah.
How do you feel about this enhancement suite? Because I find it a little awkward. I like the +2 toughness. That's a banger.
I don't know.
And
There are
rest,
ones
I'm
for
like,
battle abilities,
Yeah.
except for the 1 foot in the future, which is just a worse version of another enhancement
Yeah.
we've already covered. I don't think it gets a tick for me, unfortunately, on
Me
these
either.
ones.
Yeah.
I think the +2 toughness is nice,
It is.
but I also don't think it's as relevant as it could be, if that makes
In
sense.
this meta, it is not relevant. In a future meta, I'm very hopeful it's relevant.
Yeah.
Yeah, toughness 7 ain't a massive breakpoint in the game at the moment. And we're talking about Terminators getting +2 toughness.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's where you would
Yeah.
put this. Yeah.
Yeah. All right. First of the strats, aggressive anticipation, 1 CP, your shooting phase or the fight phase. 1 Grey Knight Psych unit from your army that has not been selected to shoot or fight. Until the end of the phase, each time model unit makes an attack, you can ignore any roll modifiers to the attack's weapon skill, bliss, skill characteristic, get any roll, hit rolls. Piss off stratagem. It's a waste of a stratagem.
Yeah.
Absolute waste.
Can this be like the one that's in the Eldar book instead? The
Yep.
the detachment that the one that for the Avatar and all the aspect warriors, because that one gets like ignore and -1 a wound and damage
right.
and stuff.
That's right.
And then we're just here like, I mean, I ignore stealth. Thumbs up.
Oh boy.
Like,
yeah.
yeah.
Jeez, awesome. Yeah. How often has stealth caused a unit to survive lately? In your opinion,
yeah,
there's something that
like-
you wanted to kill, not like an opportunistic kill.
Yeah,
something you
exactly.
actually wanted to kill. How often has stealth caused it to live?
Yeah,
Almost
not
never.
often, man. I
Yeah.
like saying it to my opponent, and then they're saying like, cool, I'm a riptide. I'd ignore it. And I'm like, yeah, fair enough. It's
Yeah.
nice that I have rules though, right?
Next up,
Appointed hour. When is your shooting or the fight phase? 1 Grey Knight Psyche unit from your army that has not been selected to shoot a fight, and you get crit 5s for that activation.
oh boy, really? That
Yeah.
sounds so good. Oh my god!
yeah,
Bro,
I
tell
know.
me
This
all
like,
the awesome combos that this creates
if I
for
were
us.
any other army, I would be like, oh, dude, I'd be
Salivating.
just jumping for joy, doing backflips, you name it. The problem is, Adam, what is the problem here, Adam?
There's no source of lethal or sus in this freaking book.
Well, there's one source of lethal, which is basically being led by a brother captain, because he's like a lieutenant now.
Sure.
But like outside of that, like cool, I guess I get sustained 5s on my silencers, which is by far the worst gun to take out of
Easily.
the special weapons.
This is the worst crit 5s I've ever freaking seen, and it's not even close.
Yeah, I mean, look, if someone like has find something that this is good for and I missed it, thank you, because I want this stratagem to be good.
I don't understand how this isn't like one of the best strats in the book, but there's no freaking way to leverage this.
There's a bet. Why isn't this in the Dark Pact detachment?
Yeah, correct. Correct. What's it doing here? It makes no
did
sense.
They misprint this because that's where it should be. Then it's actually like, hey, did I get my sustained hits off? I can crit 5s now. Sick. But what's it doing here, man? Like,
this is so. As far as I can tell, the first 2 stratagems in this suite don't exist to me. They don't do anything, man, and I'm so frustrated because this is the detachment I want to play the most, and it's so confused. All right, next up, forewarned evasion for 1 CP. Your opponent's shooting phase or the fight phase just after an enemy unit has selected as targets. 1 Grey Knight's Walker unit from your army that was selected as the target. Oh boy. To the end of the phase, each time an attack targets your unit -1 to hit. 1 CP stealth on exactly your Dread Knights.
You know what this is? This detachment is like, how we accidentally wrote 7 stratagems for all our other detachments. What are we going to do with them? Let's just put them in like a random detachment at the end.
Man,
why isn't this in the previous detachment we did, the Ironstorm one? Like,
correct. Why isn't this in the freaking Why isn't this in the Walker detachment? Why isn't the crit 5s in the lethal sus detachment? Keep going. What's next? Let's just keep going. I'm gonna have
next
a connection here.
Necessaries end. Oh god, this one's a word. All right. Fight phase, just after an enemy unit has selected its attacks. Target 1 Grey Knight's infantry unit from your army that was selected as a target of 1 or more of those attacking units' attacks. Until the end of the phase, each time a model in your unit is destroyed. If that model has not fought this phase, roll 1d6. If the result is greater than the current battle round number, do not remove the destroyed model from play. It can fight after the attacking unit has finished making its attacks.
So on turn 1, you fight on death on a 2+, turn 2 is a 3+, turn 3 is a 4+, turn 4 is a 5+, turn 5 is a 6+, is essentially how this works. And I have to say, this is a stratagem that deletes itself over time.
Imagine writing a whole bunch of words, right?
Yeah.
When you could have just said, make this stratagem 2 CP and it's just fight on death.
Correct. But
instead,
no, they had to be special.
They tried to do this weird, unique thing with
Snowflake
Battleground and stuff.
Yeah.
And
just made it worse. It's cool. Did you get a bunch of stuff killed before turn 4? If not, this detachment has just faded out of existence.
Well, I feel like the only time I can think this is useful is like I'm playing Emperor's Children. They've gone first.
Yeah, and they're getting on top of it.
Turn 1 charge me because that's what Emperor's Children do.
Correct.
And at least I can fight a death on a
dude. A 1 CP 3+ fight on death is still far better than the going rate for what it's worth. So
it is.
Turn 1 and turn 2 is totally acceptable, and turn 3 this is on brand with everybody else's, which is a 4+ or 1 CP. So this is fine. First 3 turns of the game, this is a fine strat. Turn 4 onwards, it becomes unpalatable. It becomes bad, really bad. So that's how I choose to think of it.
I feel like GK are generally an army that want to play that late game rather than the early game, right?
It's exactly right. We don't want to commit to fights until we've uppy downied enough and put ourselves in a winning position already.
Yeah, I guess that's kind of good then, because it's like saying you've got it in that early game where things are a bit tentative, and then late game you're fine. But I don't know. It's just a weird strat.
It's just like I said. It puts itself through the shredder slowly as as the game goes on.
The machine is turned on, and we're slowly watching it go through.
Watching it be shredded. Redirected strike is up next. It's any of your command phase. 1 Grey Knight Sucker unit from your army that is not within engagement range of one of our enemy units. If your unit has the deep strike ability, it can be placed into strat reserve. Designers note this stratagem lets players utilize abilities such as retain control of an objective markers and react to their missions and objectives with this unit's 1 CP. Essentially, do the same thing your detachment lets you do as well. So you can do 2 for 1 CP, and your detachment rule 2 things can be beamed up after you've seen your cards, scored your primary, etc.
I don't like this stratagem, and the reason being I think this should have just been an enhancement that once per game you can do it twice.
That's it.
Yep.
That's it.
It's just, I don't think this is a good stratagem because I don't think you're ever going to be in a situation where you really need to do this.
The fourth unit to go up. Yeah. Sorry.
I don't know.
Yeah. Because I say the fourth unit because you have to only put 2 up to get the 1 at the start of the command phase, so the end of command phase, and then pay the CP. So you're not going to get 3 then more. Although you could uppy downy 3, like in your opponent's turn. Not that there's any reason to in this detachment, and then do this, I guess, to get All right, we got one more.
I just don't think it's very good. One more, Mirage of Echoes, and I actually like this one. This is a cool one. You use this in the reinforcement steps of your opponent's movement phase just after an enemy unit is set up. 1 Grey Knight Psyker unit within your from your army that is within 12 of the unit that arrived. If your unit has a deep strike ability, it can be placed into strat reserves.
I like this one a lot. You are just immune from deep strike plasma. Because of course they can't deep strike within rapid fire range of their plasma guns. Just as an example, makes things really awkward for GSC. If you screen appropriately, it should be impossible for them to deep strike outside 12 inches of a unit at least, if not multiple units. I think this is the bread and butter. This is like the best one.
I think this is the sell for the detachment. Apart from the detachment rule. And dude, burrowing nids hate this so much.
Yeah, baby.
It's so funny how bad they hate it. They pop up with their Trigon Prime, ready to kill your Terminator unit, and then it's just gone.
It's two whack-a-mole games facing each other.
Yeah. It's also, I just want to say, if you play the Grey Knight Mirror and you have this strat, it's so funny. It's so funny.
Okay, so this detachment gets a tick for the detachment rule and absolutely nothing for the other 2 sections.
Yeah, I don't think
it has 1 stratagem in its stratagem suite.
Yeah,
actually, it's so disappointing.
It's such a weird one. They started off good and then they just dropped the ball so hard.
I mean, to be fair, so the Dread Knight detachment, it's the vehicle detachment. No, it's not. It's the Dread Knight detachment has only 2 strats, but those 2 strats are freaking God mode strats. So that's why it gets a tick there. This one has 1. If your opponent is an army that uses deep strike, we've got a good stratagem. Otherwise, this thing doesn't have any.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah. And that brings us to the end of the detachments. And oh boy, are we going to have fun over on the part 2 ranking them and talking about which ones we think are the most reliable. I'll give you a guess. It's not the one that I like most. I really like this Agurium task force. Ogarium. That one. That word. Man, I'm bad today. Sorry, it's been a long day. And yeah. All right, into the data sheets. Tell me what's missing here, mate. There's 2 of our boys that have been with us for decades that are gone, and everyone needs to. I
think all of us need to pour one out for Drago and Brother Captain Stern.
We're gonna have a moment's silence for our fallen brothers.
Please, just this is the upsetting thing. I get that they're fine cast models and they're not selling them anymore, and.
I work for GW and have every right to be a shill. If they can churn out armies like they've been churning out armies in recent years, there's no freaking reason they couldn't have made a new Drago. There's no reason, man.
And also, just his abilities are actually really fundamental to the army. That plus 3 to charge. There is no pluses to charge now.
Yeah.
Dude. At least make the enhancement of one of the detachments plus 3 to charge once per game. That could have been in the Olgarium detachment. They're all once per game abilities. Why not have one that's good?
3d6 charge. Yeah, why not? Yeah, because fundamentally, outside of 1 enhancement that lets you re-roll off the deep strike, there is no charging from deep strike in this army. You should not be planning to ever get a charge out of deep strike. If you roll it, you roll it. Shouldn't be part of your play patterns. Should be just happy if you do, because it's not a thing you can ever plan on.
No, and look, Stern also scored me so many points getting back on the 2 up on primary. So just
I literally took Stern to ANZ TC this year, and he won me games at ANZ TC. It was literally the reason I was getting 13s and 14s and stuff, because he was literally adding 12 points to my score to get 2 differential. Yeah,
GW rolled a 1 for him on this one. He did not get up.
They did roll a 1. All right. Voldus is still here. He still has the same stat line, the 7 wound, 2 up, 4 up, T5, move 5, etc., etc. He now has a shooting attack called Searing Purity, which is actually freaking good. It's Dev Wounds, Psychic, only 12-inch range, but it's D3 plus 1 shots. That isn't Blast, unfortunately, but also kind of fortunately at times. Hits on 2s at strength 12 AP 2/2 damage.
Yeah.
Not bad. And
This
in combat,
is also Dev Wound shooting, which means the anti-chaos 4+ stratagem would get it on boards, which is quite nice.
Not bad. And his melee weapons are the same, I believe. It's still a Psychic Thunderhammer with 5 attacks hit on 2s at 10-3. He still gives his unit -1 to hit in perpetuity, shooting and fighting. And then he does his little fight thing, his little extra mortal wound stuff, which each time the model's unit is selected to fight, you select one enemy unit within engagement range and roll a d6. On a 2-3, they suffer 1 mortal. On a 4-5, they suffer d3 mortals. And on a 6, they suffer d3 plus 3 mortals. So he's been given one of those enhancements we talked about,
Yeah, he actually has. It's just inbuilt. We're just going to give him a bad enhancement inbuilt. I love that.
Right.
I also just noticed he did actually gain a wound. He used to be 6 in the index.
I was about to ask you that. Was he always? I thought he wasn't 7 before.
It was really weird because he was 6 wounds, but a regular Grandmaster was 7 wounds.
7.
So it was weird. But now they've at least rectified that.
Tell me about the GM, the regular old Grandmaster.
So the GM is, again, stat line wise the same as Index. So he's a Terminator with 7 wounds. He can still take any of the special weapons that Terminators can and stuff. His abilities now is a once per battle round reduce cost for a stratagem. Thankfully, it is not a once per game one, which it was in Index, which was so dumb, and I can't believe they didn't change that in the just 2 years that we've had it. Yeah, ridiculous. And now his ability is Might of Titan. So once per battle at the start of the fight phase, +3 attacks and strength.
Hot.
For his melee weapons. Yeah, I think this is good.
So he goes to 8 attacks at strength 9, -2 damage.
Mm-hmm.
Very nice. Very buffable as well.
Correct. And he's the other thing is I do think he's a bit worse now that he doesn't just ignore mods all the time, but he's still good. He's good. Yeah.
They've been going through and taking out ignore mods in the entire game. Somehow I've left the Silent King with the effing thing, though. All right.
I mean, it's going to be... Yeah, it's Necron superiority, mate.
Oh, yeah, for sure. You guys have we all have a brand new GM DK. He's got exactly the same stat line. His stat line has not changed. Still OC4, 13 wins, 2 up, 4 up, T8, movement 8. I read that backwards for no reason whatsoever. Now has Fragstorm grenade launchers. Oh, boy. I'm so excited to shoot.
You know what we needed more of? Stormbolter shots. That's what we needed.
Stormbolter bullshit is what we needed more of. He still has the options for the Gatling Silencer, Incinerator, and Psy Cannon. Their profiles have not changed as far as I can tell. Now has a new gun. And this gun makes me very excited because this is a profile of gun that pretty much Grey Knights have never had access to. This is a multi-melter, but wait, it's more. It is a Melter 4 twin-linked multi-melter with 2 shots. So 9, strength 9, -4, D6 damage, Melter 4.
Hey, mate, let's not forget it's Psychic as well, because we really need Magnus to get a 4-up for no pain against us.
Yeah, no. Oh, dude. We're going to talk about that in part 2 a lot, by the way. How having Psychic on your profiles is nothing but a downside. In combat, he has a couple of new weapons options. He has the hammer, the fists, and the greatsword are the same and unchanged. Nemesis Flail is here, and I think is awful. So do not take this one. It's 10 attacks hitting on 2s at strength 5, AP 1, 2 damage. The reason you don't take that is because you want that. If you wanted a sweep, you just take the sword, which also has a good strike. So I think the flail is redundant. The Nemesis Mace, though, I actually quite like. This is anti-character 2+ precision, in addition to being psychic, with 5 attacks hitting on 2s at strength 6, AP 3, 3 damage. The Nemesis, so the GMDK still comes with its rerolls to hit, to wound, to damage against monsters in vehicles, making the strength 6 a lot less relevant there. And then making it, in the current meta, it is super freaking relevant against big knights, which it'll hit on 2s, wound on 2s, rerolling everything, and is likely to just do 15 damage. It still has once per battle round, 1 model from your army with this ability can use it when it's targeted with a stratagem, and you reduce the strat cost by 1. How do you feel about the new GM Decay, mate? And what would you take as your favorite loadout?
He's good. Look, to be honest, I still think you probably take the hammer over the mace, even though I do like the new mace.
There's no rerolls. You don't get rerolls like in, what are you taking? You still taking Warp Bane, mate? What are you doing?
But he gets rerolls against the against the things he wants to hit anyway. So like, feels a little redundant. But yeah, like the shooting loadout, I think you're always taking heavy Psy Cannon, and you probably are taking the new Sublimator, which is the melter gun, basically.
Yeah,
so
it's pretty much a question of whether you think in your meta you require Overwatch, because right now a GMDK Overwatch, in a night, Death Guard meta doesn't do diddly squat. So
yeah, I do think you still take the heavy incinerator if you're taking the Terminator detachment, where you can Overwatch twice.
Twice. Yeah. And
but other than that, I think the Sublimator is pretty good.
Yeah, I like the Sublimator a lot. In fact, in my head, I'm making a case for the Incinerator and Sublimator because they're both 18-inch range and they operate very kind of well together. But yeah, the heavy Psy Cannon's probably just too good to leave at home. It's got the best keywords. It's got the best strength, AP, and damage combination, and the best range for staying out of not getting charged by your opponent. All right. Take us. All right. Okay. We need to go to my boy, my favorite boy.
We have to talk about Crow because we both love him.
Oh, he is the bestest boy. He's Purifying Flame. Oh my God! Purifying Flame, guys, across the board got an extra AP. It was already busto, in my opinion. I ran Crow and 10 Purifiers to ATC this year, which is the most competitive team event in my country, which is kind of international because New Zealand plays it there as well. And this guy was my favorite unit by far. I got to tell you about the package in totality, so I'm going to talk about Purifiers at the same time. He still has the same stat line, guys. He still has the same combat. He has, not sure if he had Dev Wounds previously, but he has Dev Wounds and Precision.
He did, yes.
Yeah.
It's also a good thing to note he's actually not psychic on his melee weapons, so finally, not psychic.
It's free, but it's a freaking demon weapon. It makes sense. Purifying Flame is now still anti-infantry 2+, ignores cover and psychic, 18-inch range. Crow comes with 3 shots, which goes to 4 if he's attached to any unit. With strength 4, AP 2 1 damage. He still gives the unit that he attached to +1 attack on Purifying Flame, and every time he makes an attack that targets a character unit, you can reroll the hit roll, which isn't very relevant, seeing as it hits on 2s. I wish it was much. I much prefer as reroll the wound roll, so much more. But Purifiers used to have a pretty derpy, not that great data sheet rule where they'd get +1 to hit if they're below starting strength, and then +1 to wound in addition below half strength. They now have reroll 1s to wound permanently, and full rerolls to wound in shooting and combat versus things on objectives. And I have to tell you that when you join Crow and you have 24 Purifying Flame shots that hit on 2s or 3s, strength 4, AP 2, anti-infantry 2+, rerolling to wound, you kind of just kill rhinos with this unit now. You kind of just shoot rhinos dead with rerolls to wound. This unit is amazing. And when he is joined to that unit, he will reroll to hit against character units, and he'll reroll to wound as well if they're on an objective. So I am so enamored, more enamored with Purifiers. I think they're gangster.
Yeah, I think Purifiers are a unit you're going to see a lot in this Codex because they're just good. Reroll wounds is just one of the best data sheet rules you can get.
Yeah, I mean, it's not the most amazing meta for them, but I just love the idea of overwatching. In Warpbane Task Force, just decide to overwatch a unit Death Shroud to death.
I was going to say, you actually threaten Death Shroud with these, which is
you do. And then when they, oh my God, it's so good. Yeah. All right. So you can tell what I'm excited about. We don't have to do all of these, by the way, mate.
No,
if you feel like talking about the bro cap,
basically just a lieutenant. So there you go. You got a lieutenant. Brotherhood Champ does allow units to advance and charge.
Yes.
As a starter sheet ability, which for leading a unit, which is quite nice. He does lose fight first, though, so note of that. I do want to chat about the librarian because he's seen some good changes.
We need to talk about the Libby. All right, he's got the same data sheet ability, the same stat line. If you don't know, guys, Vortex of Doom used to be, essentially point at somebody, they take some mortals maybe. Used to be very good and used to also get around lone operative. Now they've just decided that he should be a Lehman Russ battle cannon. Because essentially he's got a Lehman Russ turret. His Vortex of Doom is now a shooting attack with blast and psychic at 18 inches. With D6 plus 3 shots, hitting on 3s at strength 8 AP 2 damage. This guy slams. But tell us about his data sheet abilities.
Yeah, so here's a Sanctity Hood, which is basically a 4 up for no pain against psychic attacks while he's leading a unit. But the cool one, Haloed and Soulfire. While this model is leading a unit, if that unit can only be selected as a target of a range attack if the attacking model is within 18 inches.
Lone up 18. My God.
Yeah, that's pretty damn good.
Dude, I think this is incredibly powerful.
Yeah, exactly.
In the Terminator detachment, I am taking 3 Libbies.
Yeah, I think so. And also, like, he almost certainly has to get cheaper now that he's not doing a million mortal wounds.
Correct.
So if they price him accordingly, like...
He didn't. He's 80, sorry.
That is cheaper. He used to be 120, so...
Nice. Well, I'm happy to hear.
That's like quite a reduction if they keep that.
Yeah.
The same,
I think he's incredible. Like uppy downy Libby, and you just have like a couple of special weapons in a unit of 5 Terminators or Paladins. Uppy downy Libby, just go just within 18 inches of the thing you want to kill, and you just get perfect knowledge. You get to pre-measure everything before you put them down and know whether they're going to make it inside 18 or not, and then which units you're willing to risk to be shot by. I think this is one of the most powerful lone operatives only because of the context.
This is also just like really good into some of the things in the meta right now because like PBCs and Morty's Hammer are really annoying.
Yeah, dude.
And now you can actually have units that are on the table that aren't being shot by PBCs in direct. So that's one thing to think.
All right. The techie, whatever, it's a techie, pretty much unchanged.
Yeah, the thing to note here though is that it now can lead Purifier squads and perks, which means it's as far as I can tell, it's the only unit that can join Purifiers that can hold an enhancement. So if you want to have enhancements on Purifiers, this is the way to do it.
Yeah, that +1 AP enhancement, baby.
Yeah, we're not talking about the chaplain yet because I'm going to rage about him soon.
Yes, we're going to skip that one. Termies, so both Termies and Paladins can come in 4-mans now.
Yes, and they can also come in 8-mans.
Yes, they have a lot more you can stratify them a lot more. They step up, step down points wise. Still got the banner, still got the Narthesium, which do the same things. The Ancients banner previously, I don't believe could come with a special weapon. They couldn't take a
not for the Terminators. Paladins it could, but now essentially you're getting an extra special weapon for your Termies, which is really nice.
Well, they've homogenized the two now, so Paladins now have the Ancient and Apothecary, and their Terminators get the Ancient kit that the Paladins had. So both of them, in my mind, got better, and it's quite a big deal. Their data sheet ability has changed. In the fact that each time this model unit makes a melee attack, doesn't have to have charged or anything like that, because they used to have lethal hits on the charge. They get +1 AP if they're fighting something that's not vehicles or monsters. So they have 4 attacks at 6, 3, 2, which is pretty nice.
This is good. Also affects your characters. So, if you're running the Grandmaster, which is going to have pop off and get his 8 attacks for a thing, he's now going to be AP3 against a lot of targets. It can be said it's probably not the best into the meta at the minute because again we're on the peak of knights and stuff like that. But
everything's got an invuln, man.
But just there are still Marines are still going to be good. It means that you can attack Sangard and they can't just AOC and get 3 up. I don't know. I think this is just a good rule.
Me too. Strikes unchanged. They still have Scout 6, and it really annoys me that the Brotherhood champ does not have Scout 6. Yeah. Yep. Cool. Tell us about Pallies.
So again, as we've already touched on, it now gets an Apothecary, and it has all the same other stat lines as before. The cool thing about them is they're no longer -1 to wound all the time, but they now get +1 damage on the charge. So they're going to be damage 3 when they charge things. This unfortunately does not affect the attached character, but let me tell you, Paladins hitting on 2s with damage 3 weapons is baller.
Terrifying. Absolutely. You're right. Absolutely baller. I don't understand why they drew the line with Paladins for all the bleed over rules that people get by attaching units. I don't know what it is about Paladins that made them think that this was going to be too good. because I find it stupid that the adjoining squad doesn't get the adjoining characters doesn't get this bonus. I will tell you that both Paladins and Terminators have gone down in cost because, of course, their durability has been reduced. There are not many durability increasing buffs in this book, and the Paladins lost their durability data sheet rule. Terminators cost 160 for 4 models, 200. So they're priced at 40 points each. I could just say that 10 models is 400. Paladins are costed at 45 each, so 180 for 4 guys, which I actually quite like because just 4 guys with a Narthesium and a banner is a nice little surgical unit that still slaps and requires to be fully destroyed to stop.
Absolutely, and I think the other thing as well that what's nice about the Paladin squads though, because their bleed over thing doesn't work on characters, or the data sheet rule doesn't bleed over to characters. It actually feels fine to run them without characters and just have these units that are just like, they actually hit hard enough on their own that they don't need the character support. And that's a big deal.
Yeah. Agreed.
Yeah.
Next up is Purifiers, which I've already told you about. We're not going to talk about the Dreadnought. Never mind. No. Interceptors are exactly the same. Still got their shoot and scoot, but I think Interceptors is a very good in that advance and charge attachment. You could freaking run 30. Pergs. We need to talk about Pergs because I am quite high on Pergs. They're unchanged as far as their weapons loadouts and all those things, but their data sheet ability is, of course, couldn't be left as indirect fire. It's been hugely problematic. In your shooting phase, after this unit has shot, select one enemy unit, excluding monsters or vehicles, hit by one or more of those attacks. Until the start of your next turn, that enemy unit is pinned. Whilst it's pinned, they're -2 move and charge. Let me get this. Let me just make sure I'm right here. I'm playing very dumb. You have 5 guys. 4 of those guys have special weapons. What's that 5th guy got? Is he just like, just hanging out?
He's got like a Stormbolter or something random.
Does he? You sure? Can you check?
Because I can essentially... The Justicar, he says he's equipped with a Stormbolter and a Nemesis Force weapon.
News to me, mate, because it sounds like that guy just gives out pinning while the other 4 dudes do
exactly. I think you're right, man. I think the guns point at something, and then I think the Stormbolter's like, hey, -2 move, mate. Like,
-2 move.
Don't come too close.
Yeah, so what I love about this is that it's damage and control on the same unit, that uppy downies, and eventually defends itself from being charged. Like, so you uppy downy, and a lot of the times you'll be like, oh, I could uppy downy and like kill those guardsmen, but then the Bulgrin are going to get me, and then I'm going to be dead. And this unit just takes care of itself now. I am a huge fan.
Absolutely. I think this is quite good. I also think this is a good point to mention that silencers, that any of the infantry mounted silencers, for some reason gain precision. It doesn't matter because it just doesn't matter. But like, we've got precision, I guess. Cool.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Oh boy. Thanks, guys.
Could have been Ignor's cover, but they were like precision instead, I think.
Oh man, I'm playing against Death Guard. Let's see how many silences it takes to kill the Lord of Contagion. It turns out it was all of them, and they're still not.
No, all of them
dead.
Didn't kill the Lord of Contagion, mate. I think that's what you meant to say.
Yeah, correct. Or he just got back up for death. I do. You know what I actually quite like about it though, and you won't hear me say this again. Exclusively into bad Awakened Dynasty players, you can pop the Technomancer, and then when he gets back up in death, charge and kill the Technomancer in one turn him. Yeah. That's exclusively. That's still
really hard to do because if they're joining Wraiths, you're winning them on 5 still.
Yep. And they just don't let you see the unit, and you do whatever. Exactly. It doesn't matter. The Dreadnought is exactly the same, guys. Hasn't changed.
Just to note that he doesn't get the special weapon upgrades that the Grandmaster does. So he's still got the same as he was before.
And essentially all the vehicles are exactly the same. Do have to talk about the Rhino, which is the worst Rhino in the game.
We do have to talk about the Razorback because he actually does have a relevant rule. But I will just mention the Rhino because I'm going to rage about it later.
So many exciting rhinos have come out recently. Every rhino that's come out for the Chaos Legions has been a banger. They're all good. But what did we get?
All right, I'm going to read this out to you, and you're going to hear the anger in my voice.
The fury.
True Silver Aegis Aura. While a friendly Grey Knight's unit is wholly within 6 inches, and that's important, models in that unit have the Feel No Pain 6+ against mortal wounds.
Whoop-de-doo. I have a 50-50 to save 1 grenade wound. Because if they do 3 on 3 dice, you got a
But man,
chance of rolling.
if your base is even 0.1 outside of 6 inches of that rhino, I'm not letting you have it. I'm sorry.
No,
like,
too bad, mate. No, you can't have your 6 up. Why does it have
it's
to be
not like
against mortals,
now,
man?
I might be wrong here, but I'm pretty sure a Sisters Anathema Rhino just has a Feel No Pain 3+ against mortal wounds. But like, that would be like, I think that would be probably too powerful for.
Way too much, mate. Too much. I don't know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
But yeah, Rhino, god awful. You're still going to take them because Rhinos are good, but this is just the worst Rhino rule. Tell us about the Razorback.
Razorback. Much happier about this one. So fire focus. In your shooting phase, after this model has shot, select one enemy unit hit by one or more of those attacks. And each time a friendly model that disembarked from this turn makes an attack that targets the enemy unit, improve the armor penetration by 1. Same enemy unit cannot be affected by this ability once per turn. So
I am a fan.
Yep, this is good. This is +1 AP for, I believe it's end of turn. So yeah, this is basically, it's going to work in your shooting and combat. So this is, it's actually a good. It's a reason to take Razorbacks, to be honest.
It is. It really is.
They're still not amazing as a data sheet, but like.
Well, I got to tell you, it's only 5 more points than the Rhino. Rhino's 80, Razorback's 85.
Well, it makes sense because you're paying for the premium for your 6 up Feel No Pain against mortals, so that
Yes, mate. I actually really like the Razorback. When I saw how close it was in points, I'm like, unless I'm taking a unit of 10 interceptors, that's the only 10-man that can go in a transport that I feel like is worth taking, because you're not apart from 10 Purifiers, which I think is better on the board anyway outside of transport. I think I actually really like Razorbacks
in a transport anyway. So I think you now put them in a Razorback instead, and sometimes they'll get +1 AP.
Correct.
Yeah,
I liked it as shooting and combat as well. I think that's hot. It's quite hot. Yeah.
Yes, it is.
And you might just be a crazy man and join a Tech Marine with a +1 AP ability to a unit of 5 Purifiers with 2 Psi Cannons, who then get out with AP3 Psi Cannons and AP4 Purifying Flame. Ignores cover.
Yeah, that's pretty sick, actually. Like,
it is, and then +1 AP in combat as well when they charge, if they charge. Like, that's actually a thing I might do because it sounds freaking amazing.
Yes. Yeah, why not? Let's do it.
The flyers are still here. Don't take them, except for the Storm Raven, which could be hilarious.
Yeah, Storm Raven I think could be actually okay, but the rest,
I do as well.
Bad.
And that brings us to the end of the book, dude. This was, I got to say, a freaking roller coaster of a book. There's a lot of good. There's a lot of very awkward and whyness, as in like, this doesn't make sense. Why is this here? This what? Huh? Yeah. And some of the worst enhancements I've ever seen. But in totality, I am not unhappy with where Grey Knights are at. I don't, and this is my hot take, I don't believe this Codex will push the Grey Knights power level up much, but it does distribute enough power that I think there's alternative builds that will be rewarding outside Windmill Slamping Dreadknights. Yeah,
exactly. Look, I think that the big tell here is that, like, I'm going to play this book. Like, I'm going to experiment with attachments, and I think I'm going to enjoy it as well. I do want to say though, I think overall, this is it. I feel like this is a missed opportunity. I think Grey Knights had a really good foundation to make a really interesting codex, and I think they missed the mark on a lot of those opportunities, sort of thing. I don't know if is that fair to say, Adam? Would you agree?
I do as well. I think there's a lot more viable archetypes, but I don't, like I said, I don't think this swings the needle in any major direction.
Correct.
In fact, I think, unfortunately, this does nothing to increase Grey Knight's stock into the current meta. Without nerfs, I think this codex may be DOA into the current meta, but that's just because the meta is extremely hostile. And I don't see anything in this book. In fact, I hate to say it, Grey Knights are less durable in this book than they were previously.
Correct, they are, and it's interesting. So I also think, just as a general sort of release as well, like, this is just, Grey Knights are in sore need of obviously a refresh compared to the rest of the modern Marine size and stuff like that. Like, strikes are shorter than Guardsmen in some instances, which is it's a bit depressing. And I also just don't think, like, again, we actually lost more things than we gained in terms of just like Losing Drago, losing Stern,
Dude,
and we
yeah.
just got like a
Nothing
model
got
that we
added.
technically already had,
You
but
did.
it's slightly different. Like,
Like,
yeah, so,
essentially, because I think it's debatable that any melee weapon is better than the sword or the hammer. Yeah, there's no melee weapon that stands out as better than either of those from the melee weapons of God.
Yeah.
Definitely not the freaking flail or whatever the crap it is. And the sublimator is essentially the only thing that got added to your book.
yes,
The fact that you have a multi-melter that you can take on your guy, that's the sum total of what was added
yeah,
here. And you lost Drago and Stern for the privilege. There's no loan up. There's no chapter master. There's no ability to charge better. And the biggest miss for me, which you and I talked about in the green room, they did not enhance a single profile. There is not one weapon profile that they made better for a game that has got fundamentally...
So not sustained precision on your silences, mate.
I stand chagrined. You just wow, actually be back into my shell, mate. Thank you so much. But they completely missed the mark on making their profiles relevant. And I'm mostly talking about the range profiles because they might as well not shoot in the current meta.
Yeah,
you know?
For some things, absolutely. Like, it's just Psy cannons are like sorely wanting like lethal hits in build, or honestly, man, probably ignore cover, same as the heavy Psy cannon.
Yeah,
I don't
give them all
understand
cover.
why
I don't get it.
Doesn't have ignores cover like the heavy Psy cannon does. Like,
Yeah.
they're the same gun, just one's bigger than the other. Like,
so I just went through I seriously recorded the Black Templars review yesterday, where every single one of their power weapons had lethal hits attached to it, and every single one of their chainswords had sustained hits attached to it, army-wide. Every single version on every single data sheet. Why didn't they do something similar here? And once again, I'm not talking about their melee weapons. I think their melee weapons are totally fine. They added precision to silences, which is, I got to say, dumb as hell. So thoughtless and pointless.
so it's like, why is my horde killing weapon also a character killing weapon?
Correct.
Now?
Makes no freaking sense. Give it to the Psy Cannon if you really wanted to. Why not make like the Psy Cannon? See that first word, Psy? Like make it anti-Psycho 3+ or some crap.
Yeah. Absolutely.
Why not? Something. Do something, guys. Because
give it dev wounds. If it had dev wounds, it wouldn't even break the bank unless it. Sorry, you did give me an anti-chaos 4+ strat, so maybe it'd be a bit wild there.
Yeah.
But like, I would. Yeah, I don't know. Like, just there's a lot of things that could have been improved on, and I worry that you're going to play this book and your Terminators a lot of the time are not going to feel elite. Like, I think Paladins are.
They're not in this game. Yeah.
They're not. And, like, that's a little bit of a miss for me. I still think they're going to be, like, viable units. I just think then they're kind of going to miss the mark on what they really should be. So, I mean, look, this is a thing that, like, happens quite often, so it's not the end of the world. But, like, it's just a little disappointing, but yeah.
Hey, but hey, Purifiers. Oh yeah, baby.
Purifiers are sick though.
All upon the Purifier train. All right, let's do our rankings and ratings before we check out and head over to part 2. My man, as a Grey Knights player, and I'm going to answer this as well as a Grey Knights player, how happy are you with this Codex out of 10?
Look, this is going to be a harsh score, but I think it is pretty definitive of how I feel about it. I'm a 5. I'm just like, cool.
I'm exactly the same. It's the barest pass mark.
Yeah.
I'm excited to play with new mechanics, but like nothing really fundamentally changed.
Yeah. Look, 6 Dread Knights is still good. Like
it's still like almost undebatably the best way to play Grey Knights, and that is to me very sad. And it was very clear when they wrote that freaking detachment that was the best detachment, and it's not even close. And that bothers me. It just bothers me that seems to be our core identity. I'm going to play the crap out of MSU Terminators, though. I actually really want to play
absolutely. I can't wait to play it, to be honest.
It's just refreshing. So 5 out of 10 for me. All right. In the competitive tier list from D tier all the way up to S tier, where do you think the best players with the best Grey Knights list will fall? And we do have to take it into account of current meta, and then theoretically say the meta gets the top of the meta gets fixed. What would you do then? So give 2 scores, 2 ratings.
Right now, I think it's C tier. Like, and
Yep,
I don't
agree.
even think it's very high in C tier,
Me
if I'm
either.
being honest. Like, and look, we are in a stage where like the top meta of the game is actually just very anti-Grey Knight, so that's a big part of that. I think 6 months down the line, this is probably going to be about I reckon it'll be B tier. I even think with potentially a couple of adjustments, this has the potential to be an A tier book in the right hands.
Yep.
But I think right now it's C tier.
So I'm a little more pessimistic. I don't think it'll go to A tier, mostly because I think of how many armies at the top of the meta are just phenomenal into Grey Knights, and sorry to say it's all of them. They're all amazing into Grey Knights. Even World Eaters are fantastic into Grey Knights. Like you talk about our Paladins now, cool, cannot get within 18 inches of a Forge Fiend. They're instant dead.
Yeah, that's true.
There's no defensive stratagem. They're not -1 to wound. There's no AOC. There's no nothing. They're freaking dead. And the bigger the squad, the more of them are going to die. So there are just huge problems in so many armies at the top of the meta that I think they're C and will go to B, depending on nerfs to the top. And I don't think they're going to move out of B, unfortunately. And while I will say there are points of this book that I'm very high on and very excited to play, it's not a powerful book. It doesn't come anywhere near the power of the last 5 books.
No, that's the big thing as well. Like it's just it's this book, and I think part of it, like the fact that there's still a 3-inch deep strike worded strategy in here,
shows you how
I think this book was written like a year ago or more, and it's
easily. Yeah. All right, my man, on that note and on that joyous tone, we're going to go over and record part 2 where we're going to write some lists that we really want to play. We're going to talk about some of the matchups that do exist or the things that we can do to get as close as we can to the top, because I don't think it's impossible for us to beat some of the top contenders, but I do think it's impossible for us to build a list that beats all of the top contenders, which is why we can't be rated very highly. But I think we can build to Predator some of these things, and I'm very interested to talk about it. And no, we're not going to be writing the 6 Dread Knight list, because guess what? I just wrote it. Congratulations.
Yeah, exactly. No one needs help writing 6 Dread Knights, okay? Like, no one needs help writing 6 Dread Knights.
No. And if you do... You sign up to my coaching and pay me a lot of money, because you need the assistance. On that note, we're over to part 2. Love you all. Take care of each other. This is the last of, I think, is this the 5th or 6th episode of Art of War Down Under I've recorded this week, so I don't have to record diddly squat while I'm overseas for the next 4 weeks. Love you all. Hopefully you're about to tune into some War Games Live WTC coverage with myself. Stu's going to be there coaching for Team Australia.
There as well.
Why did I say that at the start? I'm crap.
I don't know. We both blanked on that, but yes, I will be going as a coach for Team Australia this year. I will be participating in the War Masters, and I will definitely be assisting Australia to the best of my ability during the actual team's event. So please, this year as well, Adam, of course, will be streaming the event, and you should definitely go check that out. But Team Australia is also having its own stream as well. So if you want to have both screens of your gaming setup, one stream can be Adam Camilleri with the amazing commentary that he will do. And then on the other side, you can be following Team Oz. You'll probably get to see me every now and then just doing like cool cucumber eyes stuff, because I'll be just chilling while the other guys sweat it out. But yeah, please support the team, and it'll be a great time.
I like to think, you know, Batman, where he's like, you've turned every mobile phone into a sonar or whatever. I like to think that's what people should do. Oh, no, it's the architect from Matrix 2, where he's just sitting in a room made of TVs. People should do that at WTC time. Every stream, rolling concurrently at all times. Yep. Love it. All right, dude. Love you too. Can't wait to be hanging out in Austria with you. Everyone, take care of each other. Enjoy this WTC season. Enjoy these 2 reviews of these brand new codexes. They're probably going to come out, don't know in what order, but one week, one the next week. And Stu, thanks very much for coming on again, mate. Always an absolute pleasure. Have a good night.
Always love to be here. Thank you so much.